This is a time when many people are traveling and have more time to listen, so we decided to provide some holiday bonus content for you. Today, we hope you'll enjoy this look back on the topic that was very popular with listeners this year. It's reframing our thinking to not just to be about focused on cultural fit, but what does it mean to practice cultural fitness, to be always growing and developing together. Welcome back to The Thermostat with Jason Barger. If you're currently on a commute, a walk, or just a micro break in your day, glad you're making time to step back, to think, and to reflect on the next steps on your journey. I've never been more convinced the best leaders and team cultures in the world are the ones that make time to step back, breathe in good oxygen, and calibrate their thermostat. I hope today's conversation leaves you feeling grounded and inspired. Now let's dive into today's topic to engage our minds and hearts in order to authentically lead and create compelling cultures wherever we are in the world. Hey everyone, it's Jason, and welcome back to the Thermostat Podcast, wherever you are and however you're coming to the podcast today. Welcome in. So glad you're here. I hope this is a time that continues to breathe some good oxygen into you and help you think about setting the temperature in your life and your work. Thanks to everybody who's been a loyal listener from the beginning of this, and so glad this continues to contribute to your life and work. And welcome in to any new listeners. I hope you'll go back, check out the episodes that we've had in the past. So many great topics and ones that I hope you'll dive into. I hope you'll also take a moment, if you will, to rate the podcast 5 stars. Find the episodes that really resonated with you, rate them, leave an authentic review in your own words or why it resonated and why it's important to listen to. And of course, also, I invite you to share topics that really resonate with you and the people in your life and your work. Hey, share it on social media, send it to somebody or a team member and say, hey, let's listen to this. Let's talk about it. Those are the ways in which these messages amplify and are shared further in the world. So thanks for everybody that takes the time to do that. The holidays are upon us, and it's time to celebrate. It's time to give thanks and hopefully give gifts that show the people around us that we appreciate them and reward them for their hard work. We know that many people will be taking some much-deserved time off, but we also know this is a time when many people are traveling and have more time to listen. So we decided to provide some holiday bonus content for you. Today, we hope you'll enjoy this look back on the topic that was very popular with listeners this year. It's reframing our thinking to not just to be about focused on cultural fit, although that's really important, but cultural fit with people on our teams. But what does it mean to practice cultural fitness? Cultural fitness, to be always growing and developing together. So, happy holidays, and I hope this message resonates with you. Cheers to the year that is just passed, and I look forward to seeing you in the year to come, and I hope this message carries with you into the new year. But before we dive into today's topic, let's pause for a quick break, and we'll be right back. Many teams and organizations right now are realizing that they need to do both. They need to engage the minds and hearts of their people in person, where everyone in the room can experience the energy of congregating together and find clarity for the road ahead. And they also need to continue to find ways to engage the minds and hearts of their people virtually with those who are working remotely or at a distance. So, if you are in the process of planning your next team meeting, company all-hands event, conference or culture summit, and are looking for support with a powerful keynote speech, facilitated team conversations that are the currency for change, or deeper development on leadership mindset and an intentional strategy for the culture you're trying to create, I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. So again, as we dive into this topic around cultural fitness, culture is dynamic, means it's always changing. It's not static. It's always evolving, growing, and changing. And we all together on your team, your organization, however you're thinking about it today, we all play a role in shaping it by the way we think, act, and interact. And every person within a cultural ecosystem helps to create the culture. And cultural dissonance, again, is when our actions and behaviors do not align with the culture that we say we want. And no team, no organization is perfect. There's cultural dissonance that comes up in every culture and every relationship, but being able to identify it and recognize, well, what actions and behaviors are leading to this dissonance and help us get on track with, well, what is the temperature that we want to set? What is the culture that we're aiming for into the future to create? So all of this is a backdrop for the fact that in the world, that we're living in right now, where Gallup, research, the Gallup organization, the research they've done tells us that 51% of current employees, 51%, so the majority of current employees are actively looking for a new job or actively watching for job opportunities. That's in research that they've done across industries and across organizations, that right now in the world, they say 51% of all current employees are actively looking for a new job or watching for job opportunities. And employees, in today's world they are the consumers of the workplace. The employees are the ones that are deciding, where is it that I want to work? And so negative experiences, toxic cultures, or just stagnant cultures can jeopardize not only the employee experience, but an organization's effectiveness and the overall company brand. And so in an environment where so many people are not happy where they are, not content, and or looking for other places, we have to be thinking about, what is that cultural ecosystem that we are building? What is it we are creating, and how are we creating? It's a massive, as you've heard me talk about in the past, a massive opportunity that culture can become your greatest competitive advantage. Because if people are looking to go someplace else, and we know all the research around people want more meaningful work environments and meaningful work cultures. So if you are in the midst of creating that, all of a sudden you become a more attractive place for people. So there's been a lot of talk over the years, of course, about hiring for quote-unquote cultural fit, hiring around quote-unquote cultural fit. And cultural fit, so if you haven't heard that terminology, or if you have but you just haven't thought about what does it really mean, it's the idea of recruiting talent whose value systems, beliefs, and everyday behaviors align with the hiring organization, with your organization or whatever your company is, in order to kind of help keep the current culture intact. And so this idea of cultural fit, it's a fine idea. It's a fine idea because you want to find people that their values, the beliefs, their everyday behaviors align with the way that your team and organization operates, and certainly are they a good fit? It's a fine idea. But when the idea is focused on keeping the culture intact, then what I would say about it is that it's missing that very important element of culture shaping, which the reality is that culture is dynamic, which means it's always changing. So our aim should not be to keep our cultures intact. Our focus should be on growing our cultures and shaping them in authentic and life-giving ways into the future. So many places, as they hire, have been shifting their mindset from purely cultural fit to thinking about the talent they are recruiting as cultural adds. How are they cultural add-ons? How are they cultural contributors? Do the people you are hiring or recruiting not just fit for some culture that's just staying intact or static, but do they fit and are they aligned with your values, but do they also add or contribute something unique, something diverse, something special to the future culture that you are creating together? Will they help make contributions that will help your culture evolve in an authentic and positive direction. This idea helps expand our thinking and our mindset from this kind of stagnant kind of fit and shifts the focus on growing the ecosystem that's always changing. And so on today's episode, I want to take it even further because, again, I think that's been a good contribution to the dialogue of moving us beyond cultural fit and bringing us into cultural add or cultural contribution. But I think we need to go even further because fit and add are beginnings. They're beginnings, but they are still not bringing a wide enough lens to the conversation. Really, where we need to be also looking is what our plan is for the cultural fitness within our organization. Not just the cultural fit, but the cultural fitness within our organization. We want to move beyond just that initial fit, again, which is an important thing, and do we think the person has something to contribute and to add? But we want to move beyond that into what is our ongoing strategy to have our team or our organization continuously working on its cultural fitness. Not just fit, but the ongoing cultural fitness. So recently, not too long ago, I was at a regional culture summit in Austin, Texas with a company. Shout out to B&N, Burgess and Neipel, and Grady, one of their employees, who I'll talk about here in a second. But I'm at this regional culture summit that we're doing in different regions across the country with this great company. And we're rallying people around their core values and what it means to grow our level of emotional intelligence and servant leadership and things that are tied strategically in their strategic plan to how they want to develop their culture. It's a really, really wonderful thing, and I feel grateful to be a part of it and so excited to really be somebody who's helping to lead that initiative. But as we're in Austin, Texas that day as a part of this regional culture summit, Grady shared with the group about the great Simon Sinek's question that he asks. He saw a video or something of Simon Sinek talking about this idea and this question. Simon posed the question of, when are you actually in shape? When are you actually in shape? And he was referencing people that work out or, are really into fitness. When are you actually in shape? And the point that he made was that for people that are actively working out and working on their strength and their fitness in their personal life, that it's hard for them to pinpoint on a timeline of when they, quote unquote, got in shape. Getting in good physical condition is not something we just achieve, and it's not something, that just kind of happens. It's a process, and it's something that we continually work on and we develop along the way. And as soon as anybody who's, again, been into their own personal fitness, they know that as soon as you stop working out, our fitness begins to suffer and how quickly you lose the gains that you once had. So it's with that great imagery that makes me think about the fact that cultural fitness, not just our own personal physical fitness, but cultural fitness within an organization is required for the best teams and organizations on the planet, because culture isn't just stagnant. It isn't something you achieve, and as soon as your team or your organization wins, a best places to work award, it's or something like that, it's not like you're done. You can't just check the culture box and say, okay, we did culture. The best places have the mindset that cultural fitness is something they're always working on. They're continuously striving to set the temperature they desire as thermostat leaders and know that they need to continue to intentionally breathe oxygen into the culture they are shaping, because culture's dynamic. We have to keep working out in order to stay in shape and condition ourselves for the cultural fitness and the culture that we're trying to create into the future. And you've heard me talk about in the past that what we allow lingers and what we teach triggers. and what we allow. So what are those behaviors or actions or operations that are counter to the culture that we want? And what are those behaviors or those operations or those habits that we continue to linger that we need to be aware of so that we can teach a different habit or behavior or operation to trigger a new positive chain reaction? What are those things we need to cut out of our diet, if we carry that metaphor further, so that we can continue to work on our cultural fitness? What are the exercises we need to do to continue to trigger the kind of fitness that we want in our organization? So it makes me think about 4 quick areas. I mean, certainly there are more than just these 4 areas that are part of cultural fitness across a team or organization. But if you want a couple of questions just to stimulate your thinking to begin for today, here are 4 areas and some questions to ponder. As it relates to onboarding of new people into your culture and into your ecosystem, once they're hired, how do you view the process to begin to help new employees not just know about the culture, but begin to work out and help the culture develop? So what are you doing as it relates to onboarding? At the local team level, whether that's a local team that might, different parts of the company might be spread out around the country or the world, what are you specifically and intentionally doing to breathe oxygen into your leadership team or your department or your local team to help work on their cultural fitness? And for emerging leaders throughout the organization, what are you doing to help identify and help emerging leaders work on their cultural fitness for the future health of the organization? I just recently did a podcast all focused on emerging leaders, but what are you doing to help their cultural fitness? And lastly, at the full company or organization level, how are you helping all the people, all hands within your organization work out and help contribute to their own personal fitness and the cultural fitness of the entire organization? What are you intentionally doing to help people work out? So I hope today's episode got you thinking in many new ways. If a deeper dive into any of these topics is interesting to you, please reach out to us on email, info@jasonvbarger.com, info@jasonvbarger.com, and let us know. We're going to continue or if you have questions or anything like that, we're going to continue to design content to help meet you where you are. Lastly, I hope you go back and listen to a number of these past episodes and really hope that they add value to you along your way. Cheers to the path ahead of us, and remember that the future of leadership is you. It's me, it's us. We need to get clear on the temperature we hope to set, and then be courageous and committed to breathing oxygen into the mindsets and actions that will sustain our path forward. Step back, remember, be a thermostat, and breathe good oxygen. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I hope the messages and questions stimulate positive change along your path. As always, if these messages resonate with you and add value to your life, I hope you'll help amplify them throughout the world. Please rate, comment, and share on whatever podcast or social media platform you're using, and share this podcast with the people in your life or work who should be part of these conversations. That way, this spirit does, in fact, spread. If these messages or developing leaders and culture would be helpful to you and your organization, please contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. And remember, we are all ambassadors for the culture we want to create in our life and work. We have to own the vision we want to be a part of. The future of leadership is you, is me, is us. Be a thermostat.